macroeconomy. They're talking about, millions of people, economic indicators, stock markets, all that other stuff, job markets, and everything else. And basically, what I figured out, and I thought about this because I was trying to figure out how to help, those of you who don't necessarily have, access to capital, or don't necessarily have the ability to, get or create the jobs that you might seek. So I said, what does it really take to have an economy? So I figured out that an economy basically has three key elements, and they all start with the letter C. An economy consists of the market for capital, the market for contractors, and the market for customers. The market for capital is basically the market that allows you to get the capital that you need to get the business off the ground. So in a market, every market has two sides. Every market's like a seesaw. You have one person on one side. When they go down, the other side goes up. When they go up, the other side goes down. They balance each other out, right? And you can't, a seesaw doesn't work if you only have one person on one side of the seesaw and nobody on the other one. Or if one person on one side of the seesaw is really big and the other person on the other side is really thin, that seesaw is not going to work. So you have to have a balancing effect. So the market for capital, on one side of the seesaw are the people that need capital for their investments. They have great ideas and they're willing to, share future cash flow, but they don't have capital. So they go to somebody who has money sitting around in the bank that they want to deploy. They want their money to earn a higher interest rate than it's getting from their savings account. So they're looking for a place to invest. So you have people that provide the capital and people that you can deploy and utilize the capital. Everybody wins, because if I've got this money sitting here, I'm looking for a return on investment. And you may be looking for the capital you need to get your business idea off the ground. So it becomes a love affair when those two groups come together. The reason you don't have good capital markets in the Black community is because you have an imbalanced seesaw. The imbalanced seesaw is basically one where you've got all the people on this side who need capital, but nobody on this side providing the capital, right? Nobody who feels, like they want to invest, right? So that's why, one of the goals I always had, as a public finance professor, was to convince the Black community of the importance of investing their wealth, right? So that we could have, big fundraising efforts in the community to allow us to get the capital we needed to build the businesses that we deserve, right? So the second market is the market for contractors. The market for contractors is basically the labor market. That's the market of job seekers and job creators. You have people that need a job and people that can create a job, who need people to work for them, right? And so in our community, the problem that we have is that our seesaw is off balance. We have a ton of people looking for jobs, but very few people creating jobs. Like, so if I go out into the Black community and I say, hey, we have a job posting within the Black Business School. We're looking for somebody who can do blah, 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 blah. I'll get over 100 and something applicants within a day. Like, every time we post a job, we get a ton of applicants, like just unbelievable number. Now, if I was to put out something else that says, hey, I have a person who's looking for a job. Does anybody have a company that's hiring? I'm not going to get the same number of responses. I might get people that have leads on jobs. They might say, my boss is hiring, or the company I work for is hiring, but you don't have a lot of potential employers stepping up saying, I'm hiring. I can pay somebody $50,000 a year to do this particular job. So one of the things that the Black community needs also in our community is we need job creators. So we need to have about 1 million people. We need to plant this seed. It's going to take about a generation to do this. We need to have at least 1 million children who are trained on building businesses, because these are going to be the job creators of the future that will solve the Black unemployment problem. So that's the second market, the labor market, the market for contractors. The third market is the market for customers. On the market for customers, you've got basically two sides. You got buyers and sellers, consumers and producers. Now, why is that market off balance for Black people? Well, because we have a ton of people that are trained to be consumers that love to consume. They love to spend money like crazy, but you don't have a lot of Black people that are able to produce something, right? We weren't trained. You didn't grow up with a parent telling you, oh, you've got to be a producer. A lot of you grew up with parents, though, they can teach you all day about how to go buy stuff, how to buy a nice new Gucci purse or a pair of shoes or whatever, right? Or a new car, right? So ultimately, so basically, when you talk about what Black people need to build an economy, it comes down to our ability to understand that seesaw and to balance that seesaw so that we're not forced to go to other communities to help us balance that seesaw. Like, so for example, in that first market I mentioned to you guys when I was telling you that you needed a market for capital, well, Black folks don't provide capital to each other. So where do we go get capital? we go to other communities, right? So then next thing you know, they own our assets. They gentrify our neighborhoods because they're providing the capital to buy our homes. We become the renters, or they are, they end up owning the black businesses because they provide the capital that the business needed in order to run. So you end up giving up a piece of that business, right? The market for contractors. Well, we're all the job seekers, but we're not producing those jobs. So most of us end up working for other people, right? The third market for customers. Well, if most of us are consumers and none of us are producers, then you're going to see a lot of black people buying from white people as opposed to buying from each other. So what I'm saying is that the key mission for our community in this generation is that we must balance that seesaw. If we balance that seesaw, then we'll be fine. Now, the cool thing about the seesaw method, when you talk about building an economy, the market for capital, the market for contractors, and the market for customers, is that you can actually build an economy in your own family. I've seen this done this way. I've seen it done. I've seen a group of about 8 people where they have the 3 markets that they need, where they form a collective ecosystem where they don't have to go outside of that system to get hardly anything that they need. When they need capital, they go to the family, and the family has an endowment, a family bank. The last lecture I'm going to do for you guys is how to build your own family bank. So they go to maybe the patriarch or the matriarch of the family. They say, Godfather, or Big Mama, I need $5,000 to start a business, and Big Mama gets them that $5,000, but you got to cut in the family on the profits of the business that you're building. But the reward for you is that you get to quit your job and focus on building your dream, because now you've got a bank loan, instead of it coming from Bank of America, it's coming from the Bank of Black people, right? The BABs, right? The Bank of Black people is supporting you as opposed to somebody else. Why is that important? Well, because power comes down to who's providing your money. Actually, if you want to see a good example of this, go watch this show. It's a show on Showtime called The Loudest Voice, and it's about how Fox News and Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly got taken down when they had a whole Me Too episode within Fox News. And I watched this, and it was really interesting. I was really surprised that Fox News, they didn't get really taken down entirely, but they got cleaned out. Like, they really got cleaned out big time, over some major lawsuits and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting, because Fox is a conservative network. They usually don't respond. Like, they don't have that kind of thing going on in terms of them, sort of caving to that sort of pressure. Well, the reason that they caved is because Fox News had a strong ideological position on what they believe. But the problem is that they were getting their money from shareholders in the general public and Rupert Murdoch, who lived in another country. Rupert Murdoch was pretty apolitical. Rupert Murdoch did not care about whether you were conservative or liberal, it seemed. All he cared about is that you were making money. So when Bill O'Reilly or Roger Ailes started having problems, Roger Ailes was the president of Fox. He pretty much built Fox. Good or bad. I'm not saying that you should like Fox or dislike them. I'm just giving you an example. When Roger Ailes built Fox up, he's angry. He's like, why are you caving into these liberals? Why are you caving into these liberals? Well, because the shareholders are like, we don't care about the politics. We're not doing this out of principle. We're doing this out of money. And so we're going to make the decision that works best for us. And at the end of the day, the person that provides the capital has the decision-making power in a lot of these business transactions. So that's why a lot of Black folks don't feel free, is because the person that's funding what it is you want to do has a different, worldview than you do. That's why, you have a lot of Black shows that Black people love, like what was it? A Different World. I've talked to you guys about that, where Black people are like, yeah, we want to bring A Different World back to TV. That's a Black show. That's a Black show. No, it's not. A Different World is not back on TV, not because the actors don't want to bring it on. My friend Ron Bell, who I brought to you guys, I brought him into Black Business School before. He was the guy that played Daryl on A Different World. He played Dwayne Wayne's best friend, or Ron. And Daryl said all of us are on board, like Jasmine, Kadeem, everybody wants to bring it back, but they can't because Warner Brothers won't allow it. Warner Brothers is like, well, we got it in there on the shelf somewhere, but we ain't gonna let y'all have it, right? So ultimately, you got to think about ownership and who's providing the capital if you want to know who's actually got the power, right? So same thing is true with the other markets. Whether you talk about labor market, same thing. We're all seeking the jobs, and they're controlling the jobs. So when we want opportunity, we go to church and we pray for more opportunity. We hope that Jesus will give us, more income or whatever. Well, your Jesus really is that guy who's employing you. Like that's your God, because that's the one that decides if you get opportunities or not. But if you really want to become your own economic God, then you learn where do those opportunities come from. If he's given me an opportunity, he had to get it from somewhere. Well, where did he get it from? Well, I'll tell you where he got it from. He got it from the fact that somebody provided capital that allowed him to become a job creator, which allowed him to create